this morning I'm tying probably the most economical fly you can tie yourself. And it's actually a couple flies in one, but I'm gonna tie the Emerger, and I'll show you how easy it is while I tie it to make it a dun or a spinner. This is one of the flies that you can tie that will save you money. The joke being, of course, in fly shops, and I think everyone's in on it, that, you know, you say, well, he thought he was going to get into fly tying and save some money. Ha ha ha. Well, this fly will actually save you money to learn how to tie. And it all comes down to the Snowshoe Rabbit Foot and dyed dun. So Snowshoe Rabbit Foot is a very buoyant material, and it also is very buggy. So it in a lot of applications, it can be both a hackle and a wing in one. It can also replace CDC in a lot of flies. So on a Snowshoe Rabbit's foot, basically draw a line here, and the toes right here, this will be your tail, and this stuff right here, the softer stuff, will be your wing. The further down you go, the smaller the fly it ties. So we're doing a size 18 olive emerger. We're gonna go up to the toe here, kind of split it open, and I'm gonna try to pinch off the material I want. I don't need much. This is gonna be just our little bit of a tail. So the snowshoe foot, they usually see them for about $5 a piece nowadays. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this clump. And let me tell you, you get a lot out of it. So I'm gonna brush out the under fur from the back of it. So here's the tips. And on this fly, I leave everything pretty uneven. I don't try to get it super even. Obviously you don't want an outlier, but keep it simple. And it's about, this little tail is gonna be just over half the length of the hook. So there I am measuring it. I keep my fingers in that spot, switch hands, and I just soft wrap. One, and then I can crank down on it. And what I'm gonna do here so that the fly stays even is I'm gonna move up the shaft to where I'm gonna put the wing in. Got some crap on my thread there, right here. I'm gonna clip off that little excess. And then I'm gonna work back down. I'm gonna go a little bit further back to the bend than I did there. All right, step one, tail. Now, most nymphs are brown, so this Emerger is a two-tone nymph. So, rusty brown dubbing here. I have some already out of the package. Real super thin body. So this will be a microfine dubbing. And when you're dubbing, less is best. Probably one of the hardest basic skills to learn in fly tying is to use less dubbing and more of the thread. So here we go. And we're gonna wrap up. Once I get going here, nice and even. We gotta leave enough room for a wing and a head. Now here's what I wanna show you when it comes to tying with rabbit foot. So I'm gonna put a wing on. If I tie the wing in, so I'm gonna use this, go back here towards the back because it's a smaller fly. A nice clump. If I want to tie this as a dun, I can tie it in forward facing like this and stand it up. So let's do that. We're gonna tie it in forward facing and stand it up. You put a little dubbing in front of this, and we got ourselves a compare dun. If you want to make it a spinner, which I did another video of on YouTube, you can just take that same thing and figure eight it. Now we got a spinner. But we want to do an Emerger. So we're going to take, hopefully it'll let me do this, we're going to take that back off and we're going to face it the other way. Now we fished this fly for It can be an iso, it can be a brown drake, it can be a hendrickson. We can do sulphurs like this. The mahogany, the size 16 leptophlebia, paraleptophlebia is a great fly for this. We just face it backwards. We go halfway to the tail. So take your tail, the tips go halfway down the tail. We're gonna clip it a little tighter than we did for the dun. And you can see I just have a little bit exposed. This is where a soft wrap, harder wrap comes in. Now that's too sparse, mostly because I lost some in translation there. Let's put a little bit more on. I would say that like in car manufacturing, they do clay models. This flies a lot like a clay model. You kind of just are piecing it together. Rabbit foot is a very forgiving material. It can be a little hard to work with when you start, but it is well worth it. The finished product is so good. And it floats so well that if you're just getting started in fly tying, or you want to make the most of your winter fly tying and make sure you're covered, rabbit foot and dubbing, and you can imitate most mayflies down to about a size 20. You can go smaller as far as a wing goes, but for tail it gets a little too coarse. And you can go all the way up to a hex, although most of the rabbit feet do not have long enough fibers for a hex. So I'm going to dub on just a little bit of olive, because we're going to imitate the adult. This is also, this same fly, you can adjust, and it is a great caddis emerger. And that's it. It is as simple as that. We're going to build up the head to match the dubbing. It's a super simple fly. You can tie this fly in 18 to do your sulphurs. You can tie it. It's a great caddis. So this fly you can tie with the brown body, or like an olive body and yellow front, and that can do a couple different caddis that way. It becomes sort of a May go-to, and just in different sizes and colorways. Have fun with it. Tie a bunch of them. They'll treat you well.